After rewatching the next 16 minutes of Jen Mccabes' testimony, here are 8 times where I said to myself, what's the holdup on that wall? But now we're moving on from the waterfall to 34 Fairview. John and Karen are pulling up to the house. Jen texts John, pull behind me with 3 L's, like a slutty high school girl. Now already the phrase pull behind me has undertones of LLL, but to add the 3 L's, like that's what you do when you trying to fuck. Multiple letters, flirting. She's flirty with him. Everyone looked at him as like a god, being a Disney villain. You got the 3 fat idiots who are on a diet every year, or you got, you know, texting. Like, why is she texting? That's the inner bitch in me. Well, like, why aren't you texting one of the guys? Text one of the guys. We're going over there and you're texting with the no. I'd be like, go. I would have done the same thing. I'm sorry. Fucking crucify me. I would have done the same thing. Like, bye. See ya.
Who sent it? What's the consequence and what is the time?
I sent to John, pull behind me at 12:31.
And what were you referring to when you said pull behind?
Next messages they review are from that morning. Please answer. Karen is worried. We need to find you. If they pulled up, she was there the whole time, John pulled up with Karen and they were just gone and no one knows, why would she be saying we need to find you? Wouldn't she be like, well, Karen, I don't know? And if Karen's like, well, he got out of the car, I'd be like, well, he wasn't here. I don't think she would be saying we need to find you. Why didn't she call Bella's mom? Be like, hey, did you walk over there and fuck Bella's mom? Didn't feel right. It's not we need to find you. It didn't fit the situation. We need to find you. We need to find you. Find? Barely knew Karen. Why do you need to find him? We'd be like, I don't know. I would be like, I don't know. That's your man. Go. I don't know. I don't know where he is. Maybe you guys are having a rough time. Go figure it out. We need to find you? We need to find you is so weird.
Myself to John, Karen is worried. We need to find you at 4:59. Myself to John, please answer so I know you're okay.
Here's where we see Bev once again assert her dominance with Lap. She's walking him to fucking school. It felt almost like a parent. He brings up a picture on the screen of 34 Fairview, which Bev hates the screen. It takes up too much time. You recognize this? Does this look familiar to you? He would have went in and been like, if anyone do you know lives here? What if any house is this? Like, bitch, we already know. Jesus, Lally, okay? She's over leading him through this. She's over him. It's day 14. She's sick of it. Being a little bit of a...
And Mr. K, first and foremost, what's up on the screen is Exhibit 71. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay, I think you can just go right to what you want her to identify, please, Mr. Lally.
This next part, she's going in for the nomination. Meryl Streep, snubbed last year at the Oscars. Her and Matt bring home, going for it this year. Julie, Nagel, and Sarah, they're asking about the car ride back. Marissa Tomei, here's where we set the stage, then turning around, peanut butter. Nagel seeing something on the lawn. An elephant never forgets. Sally asks if she remembers any conversation. Immediately, she starts over-explaining. There's an objection that is allowed. We introduce the peanut butter. Exhibit A, she opened the jar of Skippy. Nagel hoof marks were in there, knowing that it had been consuming and feeding. She remembers so much detail from this. 8 hours minimum. They got to the waterfall at 9. They were at the basketball game. Be generous and say the basketball game was at 8. And let's say they went out to eat at 7. I know it was earlier than that. Drinking all day. Doesn't remember shit early to why Tristan went home. Doesn't remember anything else. The glass, it had ridges. Oh, the car ride back? Memory like you wouldn't even know. Clearly we know this because they're setting it up for Nagel to say that she saw something on the lawn. The elephant never forgets. Jen tells this story like a high school girl who's telling you about her weekend. Going to the mall with her mom. Well, I like to go to the Natick Mall because the Natick Mall has more stores and it's like better. Mom likes the Salmon Pond Mall because it's closer. Like the Natick Mall is too expensive. But the thing is about the Salmon Pond Malls, it really makes me scared because my friend Tanya in 3rd grade tripped on the escalator at Macy's and broke her leg and she had to have a cast on for 6 months. Everyone called her Cast Bitch. Even though it wasn't me, I still feel like every time I get on that escalator, I'm gonna be called Cast Bitch. So I was like, Mom, I don't want to go there, but we ended up going to the mall. I love how she cares so much about having a pool and owning a Denali and making sure all her children are fed and hitting every sport and blah, 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 blah. But when she watches her niece for a week, she leaves peanut butter and bread in the car? Can't pack a bitch a lunch?
Couldn't have happened. You know how I know? There was bread crust all underneath the seat and it smelled like Skippy. Extra creamy. Which can only mean one of 2 things. Either a gaggle of kindergartners had broken into Matt's car or Julie Nagel had been there.
And as the vehicle is pulling away, what, if any, conversation do you recall having with anyone in the car?
When I got in the car, I kind of turned around to Julie.
I'm going to allow this subject to maybe strike this portion that's relevant. Go ahead.
I turned around and was facing them and talking to them. And I believe Sarah Levinson had laughed or made a joke because I had bread or something in my car. And we made a joke about that. I had my niece earlier that week for the week. And so I had brought stuff in the car because I was dragging her from one of my kids' sporting events to the next.
So, and when you're turned, are you turned towards the window or are you turned towards the console? Which way are you turned?
Turn the console towards the back seat. So my back is to the window.
And either of these girls, did you know where they lived?
No.
Do you recall whether or not you found their homes by way of sort of yes, or was it just sort of verbal directions?
I'm assuming they just gave Matt directions to where they lived.
Then Lally asks, you drop each of them off. Do you remember which one you dropped off first? She explains that because Matt's suspension was about to go out, they dropped off Nagel first.
So you drop each of them off. Do you recall which order they were dropped off in?
Julie, then Sarah.
This next part I also missed the first time around. Probably my new favorite. Jen's in bed on her phone being frantic. Where's Matt? At the fridge, shoveling his face with cheese because of his diet. He gets to eat cheese, raw dogging cheese before bed. Why can I picture this with zero problem? Vivid memory of the eating of the cheese. Bev redirects, gets pissed. She's regaling you. She remembers going on her phone. Bev's like, can you just... This is the 227. This is the 227 part. As she hears Bev's redirection, she goes, yep, and then just continues, like, sorry, Miss Canoni.
I went upstairs to bed.
And at some point, did your husband come up as well?
He did.
Was it a long period of time between when you arrived home and when your husband came up?
I don't think too long. I think he had like some cheese or something because he was on a crazy diet, and then he came upstairs.
Now, did you go right to sleep, or what, if anything, did you do when you went up to bed?
I asked him to watch a show. He said no. He was going to fall asleep, which he does usually immediately, and I went on my phone.
And what, if anything, do you recall doing on your phone as far as going on?
I was researching, my husband and I did briefly talk. My daughter had gotten an offer to play on a club
Just tell us what you were doing, please.
Sure. I was researching a basketball team, and I believe I also texted my sisters, and I texted in a group chat with my husband and another individual.
And last but not least, what if any videos did you watch? Well, my sister gets shit-faced all the time, puts on Raining Men, gets out an umbrella, and does some kind of dance with it. The nieces and nephews they carry around umbrellas for this. Props, dance move, synchronized, swimming, choreograph, 1-2 step, Fosse original, and it's just a barrel of laughs for the whole family. But it's not that moment. It's the dirtiest look I've ever seen in my entire life. Daggers. She casts a spell. Death.
So one of my sisters loves this song, Raining Men. And she always, well, not always, maybe every once in a while, she has a little too much to drink and takes out an umbrella and sings and dances, and it's like a big family joke. And my other nephew had previously been over and showed me the video from whenever, I don't know if it's the 1970s, of It's Raining Men. So I just was playing it, showing my other nieces and nephews, and we were just like laughing because they all have umbrellas, and it's just something, it's like an inside family joke. So I played that, I think, a couple of times.
And so after you get home, and so after